A woman once broke 3 ribs and didn't notice for 2 weeks. She wasn't superhuman. She wasn't on drugs. She had a condition that affects fewer than 100 people worldwide. And by the end of her life, her body had quietly destroyed itself from the inside out. What she experienced is what the rest of us might face if pain simply vanished. And the reality is far more disturbing than you'd think. We spend our entire lives trying to avoid pain. Headaches, toothaches, the sting of a cut, the ache of a broken bone. We see pain as the enemy, something to suppress, numb, or escape. But pain isn't a flaw in our design. It's the alarm system that keeps us alive. Without it, we wouldn't pull our hand away from a hot stove. We wouldn't limp to protect a twisted ankle. We wouldn't know when something inside us is going wrong. Pain is information. And when that information disappears, the human body becomes a stranger to itself. There's a rare genetic disorder called congenital insensitivity to pain. People born with it can't feel physical pain at all. As children, they bite through their own tongues while eating. They break bones during normal play and keep running. They touch scalding water and don't flinch. Their parents have to check them constantly for injuries they don't know they have. A small cut can become infected because it goes unnoticed. A fracture can worsen because there's no reason to stop moving. By adulthood, many of these individuals have missing fingers, damaged joints, and chronic infections. One girl accidentally scratched her own cornea so many times that she nearly lost her vision. She didn't know she was doing it. There was no signal telling her to stop. This is what happens when pain stops working. The body keeps taking damage, but the brain never gets the message. Pain doesn't just protect us from the outside world. It also monitors what's happening inside. That dull ache in your side might be appendicitis. That tightness in your chest could be a heart attack. That throbbing in your tooth warns you of decay before it spreads. Without pain, these problems would progress silently. Infections would ravage organs without warning. Cancers would grow undetected. Heart attacks would arrive without the crushing pressure that sends people to the hospital. Doctors wouldn't have symptoms to work with. Patients wouldn't know when something was wrong. Diagnosis would become a guessing game, and by the time the damage was visible, it might be too late. Pain is brutal, but it's also precise. It tells us exactly where the problem is and how urgent it is. Take that away, and medicine loses one of its most important tools. But the loss wouldn't just be physical. Pain shapes how we understand the world and how we relate to others. It teaches us boundaries. It builds empathy. It connects us to our own fragility. Imagine a child who never feels pain. They wouldn't learn to be careful. They wouldn't develop the instinct to protect themselves. Every interaction would carry hidden danger because there's no feedback loop, no consequence, no lesson, and empathy would fracture. We understand others' pain partly because we've felt our own. When someone says they're hurting, we recognize it because we know what that means. Without that reference point, emotional connection becomes abstract. Suffering becomes theoretical. Psychologists have studied people with congenital insensitivity to pain, and many report feeling disconnected from their own bodies. They describe a sense of detachment, as if they're piloting a machine they don't fully understand. Pain, it turns out, is part of what makes us feel human. Here's the unsettling part. Some scientists believe we're already moving toward a world with less pain. Not through evolution, but through technology and medicine. Painkillers are more powerful and more available than ever. Chronic pain patients live on opioids that dull their senses. Experimental treatments are being developed to block pain signals entirely. Gene therapies could one day edit out the receptors that make us feel pain at all, and we're pushing for it. We see pain as something to eliminate, a problem to solve. But every solution comes with a cost. If we succeed in erasing pain, we might also erase the warning system that's kept our species alive for millions of years. We'd be trading short-term relief for long-term vulnerability. And we might not realize the mistake until it's too late. This isn't just about medicine. It's about what we're willing to trade for comfort. In a world without pain, we'd need artificial monitoring systems to replace what our bodies used to do naturally. Sensors embedded in skin to detect injuries. Algorithms analyzing biodata to flag problems before symptoms appeared. We'd become dependent on technology to tell us what's wrong with us. And if that technology failed, we'd be blind to our own deterioration. There's also a deeper question. If pain teaches us caution, shapes our empathy, and connects us to our humanity, what happens to a society that no longer feels it? Do we become more reckless? More disconnected? Do we lose something essential in the process of trying to escape discomfort? Some futurists believe this is the next step in human enhancement, a world where suffering is optional. But evolution doesn't make mistakes lightly. Pain exists for a reason, and removing it might create problems we can't yet imagine. The woman with the broken ribs eventually died young, not from the fractures, but from the accumulated damage of a lifetime without pain. Her body had been screaming at her for years. Isn't what happens if humans stop feeling pain? Maybe it's this. What are we losing by trying to silence it?